On this episode of the Sports Opinions Podcast, my brother David Cuesta joins the show as we talk a little bit of New York Jets, the dilemma for the Los Angeles Lakers, the spat between Paul Pierce and Dwayne Wade, and we finish off with some of our NBA playoff predictions. But sports fans, don't forget, if you want to get all of your coverage of the NBA playoffs and NHL Stanley Cup, look no further than the USRN, WSR, and UNB networks, all on Mixlr.com. And without further ado, cue the intro. What's up, sports fans, and welcome to the Sports Opinions Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Alex Cuesta. And for those of you that were expecting to hear Brandon Scoopy Robinson, I know I teased him earlier this week. Unfortunately, me and him could not work it out to have him on this week. Some conflicting schedules got in the way. But rest assured, he's a great friend of the program. He will be on again in the future. We know that Scoop always brings great stuff, but definitely go check him out on Twitter, Scoopy, Heavy.com, Basketball Society. He contributes for both of those, senior writer at Basketball Society. Scoopy Radio, find it anywhere. Definitely go give him some buzz, give him some following. But with me today, filling in, is a familiar voice. Everyone's heard him before. He's known me his whole life because he's my brother, and he's younger. And literally, he hasn't had a moment where he hasn't known me. What's up, David?
What's up? And unfortunately, I'm not Scoop, but I'll try my best.
I think you'll do pretty admirable. Where can people find you on social media?
I'm just going to do my Twitter. I'm at dcuesta308. If you don't know how to spell Cuesta, it's a C instead of a Q.
Yep, Cuesta. Hopefully those that are listening have been paying attention because, I've been here every week, except for one great episode where Doc and Santos filled in, and we might have to get them to do that again because that episode was baller when they just ripped fan bases.
Yeah.
But so first things first, got to ask you, we're both Jets fans. How do you feel about the uniforms?
I don't hate them as much as everyone else seems to. I don't hate them at all. I mean, the green has to grow on me. I'm not entirely a fan of the green, but I like the whites. The whites look clean to me. And I like the black ones as well. I think they're pretty nice, and they're not like an ordinary uniform. It's fun to see something new. I think my main problem with the way the Jets tried to take on this like new look is I honestly dislike the helmets more than I dislike the uniforms themselves. The helmets, I felt like if they did a little more with white, the green uniforms would look better, and all uniforms would look better if they had a little more white in those helmets. It's just a dark green with the Jets logo on it.
Now, one of the things that I noticed, I pointed out last week, is the Jets have black face masks, which I don't think I've ever seen the Jets had. They've had the white face masks a lot. Mm-hmm. They did the dark green ones with their last helmets. These are black, and they accent their black uniforms really well.
Yeah.
And I get what you're saying with the helmets, but I love the green. I absolutely love the green. I love the Kelly green. I think it's awesome. And again, maybe that's the reason I said the greens were my least favorite of the uniforms. Maybe what you said, that's the reason. There's too much green going on there between helmet and jerseys. But
and it looks very different to both those greens because like they look different. The helmet looks much darker than the uniform itself.
One is shiny, very shiny.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you're okay with uniforms. I have to ask you another question about the Jets.
Okay.
So, lately, I think it was like the past few days, today's the 13th, March 3rd, April 13th, not March, we're out of March, April 13th, a few days ago, Jamal Adams tweeted out his picture of him like in the dark in the all black uniform, which is about to get spooky. OBJ responds, "See you in week 1." And then Jamal Adams responded again, "We're going to bring it." So first off, thank you jerks, for revealing the first game of the season for the Jets and the Browns. Not everybody's speculating. But number two, that if that is the case, that's pretty damn cool. You get two of the better young quarterbacks in the game going at it in week 1. What are you expecting to see? If that game is true, what are you expecting to see happen during that game?
During that game, I'm expecting to see – well, I'm hoping for some fireworks. I'm hoping for a lot of creativity from both offenses, and I'm hoping that it's the start of something that hopefully is like for a long time, just like this rivalry between like Baker and Sam. just like maybe had like, I know it's a stretch to say this, but maybe like Peyton and Tom, like, when they match up, people are excited to watch it.
Now, how will the familiarity of being an AFC North team that the Browns are, will that help them against Le'Veon Bell, who came from playing so long in the AFC North?
Maybe in his play style, but I feel like Adam Gase is going to use him so differently than the Steelers used him. Not like the Steelers used him in the wrong way, but I'm just saying he has a different way of taking on the offense. So I think maybe they'll understand his play style, but where he's going to be on the field in some of those plays, I don't think they're going to know that just yet.
And final question about football. Who's the more spoiled wide receiver? Antonio Brown, Terrell Owens, Randy Moss, or Chad Ochocinco?
Right now it's kind of looking like AB because of like recent things. Like that's the first thing that's going to pop in your mind. Is
if
the
social
AB
media was strong back with those three, though, can you imagine what those three would have been saying?
No doubt. And I mean, they cause the things happen around them without social media, but it's tough. It's tough to make that call, especially with just what has recently happened with AB going at Juju like that. And Juju just seems like a fun-loving guy that wants his bike.
Yeah, he definitely. And it's like I said, I think it's a little bit of an unfair question because of social media. We get to see Antonio Brown doing a lot more antics. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like you said, Terrell Owens stirred up plenty on his own. Ocho Cinco, they all stirred up plenty on their own without social media. So I would have loved to like see what happened if they each had Twitter. That would have been an Instagram. That would have been a roller coaster ride.
That would have been fun. That's what it would have been.
You would have just had T.O. just literally just like putting out gifs of him eating popcorn 24/7 every time something goes wrong and he called it.
You know what? At least T.O. cried for his quarterback, though. Like, that's real.
No, AB made fun of him, and then Mendenhall called him racist, and then the two linemen on the Steelers basically said, fight us.
Yeah.
We're going to fight all of you if you don't shut up. What was it, Pouncey and Ramon Foster?
Yeah.
We're like, call us, and we'll hook it up. Be men about it. Or shut up. Yeah, that was – so, yeah, sorry, Colton. Pittsburgh is not in a great way right now. Hopefully it gets turned around for you, though.
I think they'll be okay in the season, at least this season.
Yeah, but you know what, though? Like they said, everyone's saying the Browns are going to take it, but they're going to lose in week 1 to the Jets. So that's okay.
Of course.
So shifting gears, NBA, it's playoff time, but we're going to get to that later. Me and you were probably both friggin' excited. We're going to start off outside the playoffs. Showtime, the Lakers, they're in disarray. Magic Johnson steps down publicly before telling anybody in the organization because he would have cried in front of Jeannie Buss. And I just realized, Colton, I'm sorry, I'm ripping both of your teams. But he steps down publicly, said he would have cried in front of Jeannie and probably stayed. That was weird, but he's gone. Mm-hmm. Luke Walton and the Lakers officially agree to part ways mutually. It takes him about a whole 13 minutes to get picked up by the Kings. He's now the Kings' new head coach. What the hell's going on there?
Well, I mean, of course, we always have to talk about the Lakers, no matter what, no matter how badly they're doing. But Magic stepping down, I can see kind of why he did it. He wasn't having the best go-around. Everyone seemed to not really like him too much over there. And, of course, he said he wasn't having fun, which I honestly didn't expect you to take jobs to have fun. That's not what most people usually take jobs for. But I feel like if it was anyone but like Magic Johnson, if they had said, I didn't tell the owner of the team that I wanted to step down at all before doing this, a lot of people would be blasting that as unprofessional, which I really haven't seen much of it. I mean, I see people making fun of it.
Yeah, what would happen if
it's unprofessional to do that?
Yeah, what would happen if a player came out publicly first and was like, I'm shutting it down? And then tells the team, everyone on the planet will be saying, oh, that player's the worst. Get rid of him, send him out, blah, blah, blah. So there's a definite double standard when it comes to executives and players doing things.
Mm-hmm. And about Walton, I've seen this mentioned before in sports media, and I agree with this to an extent. Like Luke Walton wasn't given exactly the best the best job out there with LeBron coming and having to deal with a young core and LeBron. A young core that is supposed to be building, but also building to a championship in the same year with LeBron. Like, that's very difficult to do. And, of course, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but since Scoop was supposed to be on here, we're going to mention it. He had Charles Barkley on. Brandon Scoopy Robinson had Charles Barkley. And Charles Barkley was one of the guys that said that Luke Walton was put in a position to fail.
Yeah.
And so right there.
It might have been from Barkley that I saw that.
Yeah, and that's from Scoop B. So there you go, aggregating you, Scoop. Even though you're not here, we love you. But go ahead, Dave.
But that's the thing. It's just like he wasn't put in a great position as a head coach. He wasn't given a team to develop. He was just given, hey, you got LeBron James. Unfortunately, we couldn't get the Paul George we promised. We couldn't get anyone else we promised. But we gave you LeBron and this young core. And oh wait, Lonzo Ball's going to have a decent year, a pretty good year, but then get injured. LeBron's going to get injured for a long time and then come out and said he probably should have never played after that injury. Like, he just got so many things thrown at him that a head coach really doesn't need to happen when he's just trying to develop a team.
Yeah, he went from having a veteran-laden team that barely had to be coached with the Warriors when he took over as an interim coach and had a great run. And just it was a group of leaders on that team that just kind of led the way, and he just gave them plays and strategy and structure to a team that, like you said, where he had to struggle with obviously giving something to LeBron because LeBron does demand a lot. So if you're a good coach, you're going to learn how to work with your superstars. Part of working with LeBron is ceding a little bit of power to him.
Yes.
And he had to do that. But also while developing this young core, like you said, where I think Kyle Kuzma took strides. Kyle Kuzma is a legitimate scorer in the NBA, and he's shown it.
Yeah.
Like you said, Lonzo, he ended up getting hurt, which put a lot more pressure on Rondo to play a lot more minutes than I think anybody wanted him to play.
Yeah, probably more than he wanted to play.
Definitely more than he wanted to play. So he was 100% put in a position to fail. Now, there's the rumors of Tyronn Lue coming to coach this team. And obviously, we can call a spade a spade. Ty Lue is coming to be a figurehead so LeBron can coach the team. Let's just call a spade what it is there. Ty Lue is going to get paid a good amount of money, get a lot of credit, and let LeBron coach the team. Is that going to attract free agents, knowing that this is now LeBron's show? Kawhi already said, I don't want to go play with LeBron, so he's not coming.
Honestly, it's almost seeming like more and more people don't really want to play with LeBron. And I mean, and in one sense, I do get it, because it seems like every time, like around LeBron, like things always seem to go wrong at least a little bit. Like usually head coaches are gone. Things seem to, and there's so much scrutiny on you when you're with LeBron. Like if you do not make the championship with LeBron, you did something wrong. It's that simple. Not LeBron did anything wrong unless you're talking to like Skip or someone like that. But you did something wrong. So like it's a tough time right now for LeBron. He can't even recruit for Space Jam 2.
Well, that's because guys are in the playoffs and they're filming now. I'm not giving that much credence because I guarantee Giannis Antetokounmpo would have been in the movie if he wasn't trying to win a championship.
That's true.
I'm not going to give much credence to that. Quick aside, though, I have to give credit to Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith gets ripped constantly for having opinions. He's going to get credit from me right now because all year I listen to some of the Stephen A. Smith show when I can. I do like him as a radio personality more than a TV personality. I feel like on the radio he talks more of his sports knowledge. On TV he kind of puts on a show. But he has been saying all year, and even in the beginning of the year, a lot of this is on Irving Magic Johnson. And Magic Johnson has a lot of pressure on him to put this together. And he did not know if Magic was going to be able to do it. And he was the first one to call him out for the building of the team and saying that this is on Magic Johnson. This is not on Luke Walton. This is on Magic. And you know what? I got to give credit to Stephen A. because he hit the nail on the head and Magic stepped down.
I don't disagree with that, no.
And I feel like personalities like Stephen A. kind of put that pressure on Magic because Magic was a media guy for a little while. So he knows these guys. He obviously listens. So I got to just give credit to Stephen A. for calling it like he did. Jumping on to another credit, back to Scoop B. Seems like I'm jumping around here. I'm just giving credit. This is the Not the Sports Opinions podcast. To give credit to other dudes podcast. It seems like Adrian Wojnarowski is now starting to follow Scoop B's Twitter feed and take his information from months ago and make it their own because Woj reported that LeBron is going to sit out and that the injury is much worse. I'm pretty sure like 3 months ago when the injury first happened, Woj was the first person to report about a week in when LeBron said he's going to be back soon, that he had sources inside the Lakers, I guess the Lakers inner circle, saying that this injury is a lot worse than it is, and LeBron is forcing it back.
I do remember seeing that from
the playoff push. And what do you know? It comes out now from, Woj, and it's a Woj bomb. I'm sorry, that's a Scoop bomb. Scoop talked about this months ago, and now it's finally coming out. So I got to give credit there as well. But overall, if LeBron doesn't get Tyronn Lue, if the Lakers go a different direction, whoever the president becomes, I know there's talks of Jerry West, but there's also talks of the Golden State Warriors GM coming over, or possibly Jerry West jumping from the Clippers, which I don't see, but I know he definitely coveted the Lakers job. How does all of this affect LeBron if he doesn't get what he wants per se?
I honestly think he's just, if he doesn't get what he wants per se, I mean that's speculation at this point, but I feel like he's just going to roll with it. I mean, what has he done his whole career? If anything goes wrong, he rolls with it. It's that simple. This media's on him. He's getting a lot of scrutiny. He rolls with it. He does what he can. And I mean, what's happened his whole career? He's always skepticism, always everything about him. And is he enough? Can he compare to MJ? He just rolls with it at this point. He's so far in his career, he's just going to go ahead.
What are the chances that you give that the Lakers look at this, go, this is a failed attempt, let's trade LeBron, let's get what we can for him, and let's start from scratch again with this young group?
That would look awful for the Lakers. That would look probably the worst the Lakers have ever looked in their history if they do that.
This scenario, hold on quick. This scenario, Knicks get first pick, they draft Zion, and the Lakers go, we'll give you LeBron and, I don't know, Ingram for Zion. Now what?
That would still look bad. The reason why it would look bad, getting rid of LeBron no matter what, is because you brought this guy over who is, no matter what side you're on in this comparison, who is in the GOAT talks. No, and you're the Lakers. You're supposed to win championships.
Yep.
This is what you do with these kind of superstars. So if you trade LeBron after getting him to win championships with him, to be the Showtime Lakers again, you look awful. You look terrible.
So depending on who they get, coaching-wise, how does this affect free agency? The free agency pool is awesome this year. It is really good.
Yeah.
Kyrie, Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson's, I think, either up this year or next year. You have Kawhi coming out. You have Anthony Davis is able to be traded. What do you see happening? Do you think LeBron's star power and his recruiting power is still enough that he can go out and snag one of these superstars, at least one to come play with him?
I legitimately think that AD is probably going to end up at the Lakers. AD's wanted to go there since halfway through the season. It seems like he still wants to go there. I think Anthony Davis ends up on the Lakers. I don't know who else afterwards. There's been speculation all over the place on which person might go there. I think maybe he does get a guard as well. I don't know if it's going to be Kyrie, but I mean, Kemba's a free agent. And Kemba could possibly go over there as well. He has no idea what he's going to do if he's going to stay in Charlotte or not. I mean, Charlotte really hadn't built great things around Kemba. So if you're Kemba Walker and you see Anthony Davis most likely going to the Lakers, and you have a chance to be with LeBron and Anthony Davis and actually touch the playoffs again after a long time, and actually touch the playoffs with a chance of winning. I'm sorry, but why wouldn't you do that?
So, quick aside, jumping off the Lakers. Would we be able to drain the Hudson River and refill it with Lakers fans' tears if they don't get the 1 or the 2 pick? Not Lakers, Knicks fans. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
If they don't get Ja or Zion, how great is that going to be? I'm not going to lie.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. It'd be pretty funny to me because I'm not a Knicks fan. But so I think it'd be pretty funny. It'd be heartbreaking for them.
Yes, it would, but I would still laugh because on talk radio, that's all you get. New York talk radio is Knicks talk, especially when they don't deserve it this year.
Yeah, I mean, I've always thought hoping for a draft pick like that isn't exactly where you want to be as a franchise.
Well, now that the top 7 have a great chance, or bottom 7, I guess, have a great chance of getting the number 1, sucking for a player does not work. So you know what? They might enjoy Cam Reddish. Anyway. Going on from something equally as dumb, like losing for a player in this day and age, to the debate that Paul Pierce started when he essentially said that he does not understand Dwayne Wade's little send-off because he was a better player in his career. People went nuts. So just off its face value, who do you think is better?
Off of face value, who do I think is better? I do think Dwayne Wade has been a better player in his career. I do think that, of course, it's social media. We overhype everything that's said. It was a little bit of an overreaction to what he said, but we can't discredit how good Paul Pierce was in his career. He got the nickname The Truth. Do you know how good you have to be called The Truth? Come on. That was from Shaq, I believe. Come on.
Now, also, I have a question for you. How much stake do you put in numbers? Overall numbers. They both played 15 years.
Oh, no, I definitely – when it comes to, career – they both played 15 years. You have to put some stake in numbers. You also have to look at what they've been through career-wise. There's obviously been a lot for the both of them. But, I mean, I don't know. I've just always liked Dwayne Wade's game a little bit better. That's my thing.
So let's put it to you this way. I'll tell you the stats that Paul Pierce has better numbers than Dwayne Wade. Mm-hmm. Ready? Big one. Points in his career. 26,397. Dwayne Wade, 23,165. Mm-hmm. He's better in rebounds. 7,527 to 4,933. Mm-hmm. He has a better number in steals, surprisingly. 1,752 to 1,620. Mm-hmm. Better three-point shooter of all in his career. Mm-hmm. He has what does he have? 2 or 3 championships as well?
Paul has. He might have 2. He might have just 1. I don't remember.
Well, regardless, they're both still champions. They're both, and when you look at it, honestly, I'm going to be honest right here. The reason why I think we remember Dwayne Wade as the better player over Paul Pierce is, number one, he had to come in and play with Anthony Walker.
Yeah.
Who was considered the best player at the time, but he was not. They were just really bad Boston teams early in his career. Mm-hmm. Really bad Boston teams. And number two, his style of play was very gritty. He was super physical.
That's true.
Care if you liked him or not. Mm-hmm. Where Dwayne Wade was much more flashy, much more pizzazz, and he was a very liked player. Mm-hmm. We remember Dwayne Wade in a better light. And listen, Dwayne Wade was one of my top 3 favorite players for a little while there, just because of the way he played. But to be quite honest, Paul Pierce is a point. He might have been the better player out of the two when you wrap up their careers.
Listen, you could be on either side of this. They're both great players.
Hall of Famers, without a doubt.
Exactly. So you could be on either side of this. I feel like maybe it just comes down to who you personally like better. I mean, obviously, we're going to give Dwayne Wade more people are going to give Dwayne Wade the win here because he just had his farewell party. And I mean, Paul Pierce did deserve a farewell year. If he was still on Boston, he would have gotten it. It's that simple. Yeah.
And, when you look at it, and I don't know, I guess you look at the guys that they had to bring in to play with each other to win it. Yeah. Paul Pierce brought in arguably the best power forward in the game at the time for at least 5 to 10 years. Him and Tim Duncan were the 2 best in KG, big ticket. He brought in one of the best shooters ever, Ray Allen.
Yep.
And then he got lucky with Rondo being as talented as he was.
Yep.
So take that team. That's a great team. Dwayne Wade had Shaq. People forget he had Shaq with his first championship. He was not getting a championship without a Shaquille O'Neal.
No.
And then he had LeBron, Bosh, and Ray.
Mm-hmm.
So it's you can compare the players that they brought in to help them win.
You can. You definitely can. I mean, you can compare the teams. I would think the Miami Heat super team's a little bit better than the Boston super team, not going to lie to you. Boston super team might be grittier, though, which could help in a 7-game series.
Yeah, but, definitely.
It's a tough comparison. I think it's tougher than people made it out to be on social media, which that's how it is. Always is.
Put it this way, and I know people might kill me for this because I'm a Nets fan, so I really don't like Paul Pierce. Even though he came to Brooklyn for a year, I don't give a damn about that year. He's a Boston guy. I don't like him.
Did you see the gif where he threw his hat into the stands and when he was on Brooklyn, they threw it back to him?
Oh, yeah, it was amazing. But if I have one shot to win the game, and I know it has to be a 3-point shot, I sure as hell want that ball in Paul Pierce's hands, not Dwayne Wade.
Yeah. I won't disagree with that.
And you know what? And that's the way I look at it from my perspective. Who's the better player? Even going to the basket, I want the ball in Paul Pierce's hands. I'm sorry. I love Dwayne Wade, but I want the ball in Paul Pierce's hands in a big-time situation. That's it. That's how I settle it. So is it a stupid argument? Hell yeah. They're both Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
And for Paul Pierce to say anything like that is kind of dumb. I think he's just a little bitter.
Yeah, he is. He definitely is.
But People going crazy and saying that Paul Pierce is nuts. He was terrible. This one guy had a bunch of gifs of just Paul Pierce falling down on defense, which was amazing. It was an amazing compilation of him just getting destroyed defensively.
I love that.
But overall, if you're looking at it objectively, people hate Paul Pierce more, but he was also the better basketball player. All right, so last thing, we are going to first talk about, guess what? The Nets played earlier today. What did they do, David?
Yeah, they won, baby. Let's fucking go.
They beat the Philadelphia 76ers in game 1 of first round of the Eastern Conference playoffs, NBA. Sorry, Kyle Burns. Sorry, John Natoli. I'm happy, though. Very happy. They played awesome. They had that game on control, basically, the whole time.
Yeah, I don't think we lost the lead after we took it in the first quarter.
No, they got it down to 2. They got
down to 2, and we kept it. Yeah.
Yeah. So right now, looking at the playoff picture, we'll talk about that matchup first because it's there. It's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Brooklyn, Philly. Brooklyn's up 1-0 now. Philly's the 3 seed. Brooklyn's a 6 seed. Unlikely story with Brooklyn. They turned it from 29 wins to 42 wins. First winning season in what looks like forever, even though people forget the first 3 years in Brooklyn were playoff years and pretty damn good. The last 3 haven't been.
Yeah.
This one has been amazing. 42 wins, 40 losses. Philly, 51 wins, 31 losses. I think a lot of people were expecting Philly to win this one in 5.
I mean, honestly, I expected Philly to win it in like 6. Maybe
I called
7.
Brooklyn in 6.
Right now I could see that too. I wasn't sure about how we would start because, I mean, it's the first playoff for a lot of those players on that team. So I wasn't entirely sure how we'd start off. I didn't think we'd take this first game.
No, and I don't think many people did, but they did it the exact way that they needed to win.
Yep.
The 3 guys that were leading the charge were D'Angelo Russell, Karis LeVert, and Spencer Dinwiddie. And I know, Nets fans, I'm a loyal Nets fan. People might be mad at me because I just wrote a piece on the blog about whether or not the Nets should go after Kyrie Irving to replace Karis LeVert, which still might hold true unless Karis LeVert has an amazing playoffs, but I digress.
Mm-hmm.
Russell had 26 points. LeVert had 23 points. Dinwiddie had 18. They all made clutch shots. And it's interesting. LeVert's looking like beginning of the year LeVert now. He was unstoppable.
Oh, yeah, sure is. I mean, he was finding his rhythm the last 3 games. We saw it happening. We saw him coming back into his own.
Yep, he had that one stinker, I think, against the Raptors.
Yeah.
But besides that, he's coming back into his own. So this is what the Nets need to do. Those are their keys to victory. Now, on the flip side, Philly shot 12% from 3. Yep. That's not happening. The Nets did a great job running off Redick and letting Ben Simmons get anywhere besides 2 feet away from the basket because he has a worse jumper than Shaquille O'Neal. But besides that, Jimmy Butler had his way, and Embiid was pretty dominant, even though, I'm sorry, I don't want to sound like a bitter Nets fan. I was going to tweet this out, but I decided not to tweet anything during the game. Does anybody in the NBA walk more than Joel Embiid besides LeBron and doesn't get called for it? I swear to God, the guy takes a step before he dribbles every single time. Every time.
It's whatever. I mean, Embiid had a decent game, but I don't think it was good for his standards, honestly.
Well, he's also hurt.
But if you're hurt, but he had the decision to play that game. He didn't have to play if he was hurt. So if you're going to play, and you're going to play in the playoffs, you got to have a good game. I don't care if it's against 6 seed. You just lost to the 6 seed at home.
I agree.
He couldn't hit anything. Both him and D'Lo had bad first halves. Jimmy Butler is the only reason why the 76ers were in that game.
He was, and Simmons had a terrible first half. I think he had 1.2 assists. It was bad. Yeah. But one thing I do have to say is Embiid did do something that the rest of the team needs to pick up the slack if they want to beat the Nets. Then Embiid did it well. He got Ed Davis and Jared Allen in foul trouble quickly.
That is
very
true.
Quickly. And if the rest of the team was clicking and hitting their shots, this game would have been over quick because Jared Allen had that great block early. I think it was on Tobias Harris.
Yeah, it was on Tobias.
And after that, though, he had to come out because he had 4 fouls quickly into the second quarter.
Yep.
Ed Davis had 4 or 5 fouls going into the third.
Mm-hmm.
2 big factors for the Nets, but the rest of the team could not hit around him. For me, the keys for the Sixers is work through Embiid and hit open shots. They missed so many open shots.
Yeah. I mean, the J.J. Redick, nowhere to be found. Tobias Harris, nowhere to be found. Ben Simmons is looking bad right now. He seems like he doesn't even work on his shot. Why is he still afraid of it?
Yeah, he's afraid to take it, and that's going to be a big problem. Now, on the flip side for the Nets, This aggressive swarming defense was awesome. They went small with Jarrett Dudley on the 5 covering Embiid, and that lineup torched the Sixers.
Yep.
They couldn't take advantage of Embiid down low because every time he touched the ball, they swarmed, and they dared the rest of the Sixers to shoot the ball.
Yep.
And that's exactly what the Nets need to continue to do. You need to be okay with getting beaten by anybody but Embiid.
Yep. Well, I mean, the thing is, the reason why that can also work so well is because this Sixers team, like Brett Brown said it, Jimmy Butler's like the parent in the room. Why does that have to be a thing? Why are they so childish? Why this swarming defense works? Because they'll get frustrated and they won't be able to keep calm under that pressure.
Yeah, and why isn't J.J. Redick being the adult there? He's the longest veteran, and he is the guy that has been on championship pedigree teams.
I think that's the biggest problem the Sixers had even coming into playoffs is that and their health. Those are two biggest problems.
Yeah, I'm not going to touch on the Amir Johnson and Joel Embiid looking at the phone on the bench. Apparently, I take Joel Embiid at face value. He's given me no reason to think the guy's a liar. He's been pretty stand-up, even though he messes around and talks his junk. I think it's a part of sports, but he's been a pretty stand-up guy his whole career. Yeah. He claims that him and Amir Johnson were looking at the phone because Amir Johnson's daughter was super sick and he was checking on her. I'm taking that at face value. If that's the reason, then yeah, Amir, don't have your phone out or just have it away from Embiid. Embiid obviously knows his kid and wanted to check up on her too. And I'm taking that at face value. I'm not touching that because if that's the truth, we're a bunch of jerks for ripping them.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. I still think it's unprofessional, but you know what? That's the 76ers have to deal with that. We don't. That's their problem. That's what they have to do.
And Amir's not playing. Should Joel have looked over? Probably not. He was showing it to him, but Joel needs to be better in that situation, not Amir.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next series. We're going to talk about the current game going on right now. It's looking like the Orlando Magic is going to upset the Toronto Raptors.
No, I've been watching it while talking here, and I'm amazed right now.
I'm game casting it. 3.4 seconds left. Magic are up 104-101. Second half has been a roller coaster. The Raptors were down by a bunch. They came back. They stormed, but the Magic have fought back. DJ Augustine is having a redemption. It's been great to see 104-101 now, a 0.5 left. This game is over. The Magic are going to go on to beat the Raptors. They're going to take a 1-0 lead in that 2-7. First off, what the hell's going on? Second off, keys to those games for me, Toronto, it needs to get Kawhi Leonard going right away. They need to forget about everybody else. Yeah. They need to forget about Marc Gasol. They need to forget about Siakam, who is not the most improved player of the year. I hate to break it to everyone. It's D'Lo. They have to forget about Lowry, who scored 0 points today. What the hell is wrong with him?
Whoa, literally. Playoff Lowry is a real thing, except he's just really bad. What is with him?
He's like playoff Peyton Manning for so long.
Yeah, really?
It's been pretty embarrassing on their part with the way they have him, but they have to work through Leonard better. They have to play defense. I've never seen a Raptors team play worse defense than this.
Yeah.
And so their keys are pretty easy. Just be the freaking Toronto Raptors. Stop messing around. Just be the Raptors. Van Vliet needs to be the annoyance that he is. They brought in Jody Meeks to bring in some veteran presence. He has not. Serge Ibaka is not playing well. No one's playing well. So they need to just be the Raptors.
This game has only been Leonard and Siakam. That's all it's been.
Yeah, Leonard and Siakam. It's crazy. And on the flip side with the Magic, I think it's just these teams that know that they're throwing, grapes up against the wall trying to beat these big teams. They're just being pesky, and that's what they're doing. They're using Vucevic's big body to be a deterrence.
Mm-hmm.
Augustine has gone off for 25 points, and then he's just got everyone else in double digits. Fournier is 16, but Aaron Gordon 10, Isaac 11, Vucevic 11, Carter Williams 10. Where the hell did he come from? Terrence Ross 10.
Yep.
They're just being tedious, and in order to consider, they just officially took it 104-101. So Magic are up 1-0 against the Raptors.
Crazy.
So the two underdogs today, Nets and Magic.
Two East underdogs. Yeah,
two East underdogs have won their games. And so their keys, I honestly think their keys are work through Vucevic. He's very talented. Very talented. Make sure he gets a lot of touches, not necessarily a lot of shots, but he's also a very good passer.
Yes.
And then you need to get guys like Fournier and Gordon and Augustine going.
Mm-hmm.
And if they do that, I think they'll be keyed up to win this, but I still think the Toronto Raptors are going to storm back. This is going to be something.
I definitely think you had it in itinerary, like interesting playoff matchups to watch in the first round, and I honestly was not going to bring up this one. I did not think this would happen.
And also, here's a problem for me. Siakam took 24 shots. I know he's played better this year, but Siakam took 24. Leonard took 18. How is your superstar taking 6 less shots and playing 9 less minutes than this guy who just started getting good at basketball?
That's definitely fair. I know. I can definitely see that. I forgot to mention also Danny Green did show up in this game. I forgot to mention him. He was hitting threes.
He shows up in the playoffs, and I think his chemistry with Leonard from knowing each other definitely helped.
Yeah.
Here's a real question. Do you start Fred VanVleet over Kyle Lowry right now?
Oh, my God. After 0 points, maybe just to get Kyle Lowry mad enough to play well. I mean, other than that, you kind of want Kyle Lowry starting because he's supposed to be your star point guard. That's what he's supposed to be.
And is DeMar sitting there getting ready for their matchup with his legs up going, didn't I tell y'all he was going to choke? This is what I had to deal with.
Exactly.
How many years? Didn't I tell y'all he was going to choke? This is what he does. Hopefully he tweets it so we can have some controversy.
Yeah, really. He's mad, bro.
So that was surprising. But so first one, I think Nets in 6. What are you going with your official prediction?
For that? Now I'm going to go Nets. I'm going to actually go with you, Nets in 6. I actually think we can pull this one out now.
Riding the emotion, baby. All right,
Especially did you see what Ben Simmons said?
What'd he say?
He's talking about Philly fans booing him. He said, if you're going to boo, stay on that side. Like, they're already frustrated. That's not a good look for their playoffs.
And then you have D'Lo going, if you weren't with us, then you're not with us. So look at that.
Yeah.
All right, for the next series we talked about, Toronto versus Orlando, I think Toronto's going to win 4 straight. I'm calling that one 5-1.
Yeah, me too.
5 games. 5 games. I think 5 games Toronto wins that one.
Yeah, me too. Honestly, yeah. I really don't see Orlando pulling another one out. Even though they have the grittiness, they have some size, but I don't know. Unless Terrence Ross actually goes insane one game, which he could, I think Toronto takes in 5 as well.
Okay. So we're going to jump back up top, the 1-8 matchup, Milwaukee versus Detroit. It's interesting that Detroit got here. I'm not going to lie. And also, fun fact, I saw this is the first time ever since they've gone to the 16 format series, I think I saw, that there has been 0 teams under 500.
Yeah, no, I saw that as well.
That's pretty crazy to think. Detroit is there 41-41. They're at even. But this one, I think Milwaukee sweeps Detroit. Keys to the game for this. Detroit, just another one. They just need to work through Blake, hope that Blake stays healthy, and him and Drummond just do their thing. That's really their biggest hope right now. Milwaukee has Giannis Antetokounmpo and Malcolm Brogdon and Chris Middleton, and can we just keep going? And Brooke Lopez. Too much. They have 4-game sweep.
And they also have a lot. I feel like Milwaukee still has a lot to prove as well to some people because, I mean, this is their first time being this good. So you want to go out there and just beat the hell out of your first-round opponents.
And they have a lot to prove to me. Me and Matt Santos got into a debate in the group where he's saying that Giannis Antetokounmpo is the best player in the league, and I'm saying no, not yet. Got to do something first. You can't be the Suns in the regular season and then be crowned the champions before you do anything. Sorry.
Fair.
So you got to do something. Are they great? Is Giannis unbelievably talented and possibly the most talented player right now?
He's unstoppable.
He is.
Mismatch nightmare.
That's fine, but if everyone else isn't working, then let him score 40, and there you go.
Oh, no doubt. But I just see it being a sweep because Chris Middleton is insanely good. He just has Giannis on the same team as him, so he's not seen as much.
Oh, yeah, but Chris Middleton he's literally, not to call these guys that, but he's the Pippen to the Jordan, where Giannis would be the Jordan and he's the Pippen. They're both amazing players, but one overshadows the other.
Yeah.
All right, last matchup in the East, probably the most intriguing one. 4-seeded Boston playing 5-seeded Pacers without Victor Oladipo all season, doing what they did, still winning 48 games. This is a good basketball team, everybody. Bojan Bogdanovic is really leading the way down there with Miles Turner. They have great players on the Indy team. The key to me is for Indianapolis to just play Indy ball, work the ball inside and out, play good defense, be tough, and just blitz Boston as much as they can.
That's another grit squad team right there. That's all they are. I mean, Miles Turner is huge defensively. He is ridiculous defensively. And, Bogdanovic scored. Just simple score. Like, just go out there and get points on the board. So this Pacers team can do a lot, but I don't know. I feel like the Celtics are going to get together at least for the first round of the playoff.
I do too. I think the Celtics have too much, even though Marcus Smart is out. But Scary Terry already said he has to step up, and if Scary Terry's stepping up, then that's the end of that.
Yep.
Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, they've been a little more quiet this year, but I think they're going to come to the forefront. And Kyrie Irving is there, and Al Horford. There's a lot to deal with there. There really is.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking Boston in 5 with that one. I think Indy's going to show life in all 5 games, so I'm thinking Boston's going to take that.
I think Boston 6, honestly. I think Indy's going to show up at home. But I think it's just going to – especially since Marcus Smart's out, because he's huge for that Boston team. Just attitude-wise and defensively, he's huge. I think Boston 6.
All right. Let's jump over to the West and jump through some of those matchups. Golden State Warriors, they're the number 1 seed in the West. What a surprise. 57 wins, 25 losses, playing the upstart Clippers, who a lot of people are saying that either Doc or Kenny Atkinson should be coaches of the year. I don't disagree with either of that because he has the Clippers where the Lakers want to be in the playoffs. I think the Clippers play the Sixers tough the whole time. I think they take them to 6 or 7 games. I do.
You mean the Warriors?
Yeah, the Warriors. I think the Clippers take the Warriors 6 or 7 games. I think they give them a lot more run than they're expected to give them.
I don't know about that one. I feel like the Warriors are going to come in and just smack the Clippers in the mouth. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to go Warriors in 4, to be honest. I feel like even though they are still considered the all-out champs no matter what, I feel like they're still a little disrespected with how people have been chatting about them lately.
They might be, but they haven't been as flashy as they were. They're a little more quiet, and the more distraction is where Kevin Durant's going after this season.
And that's fine. I feel like that's fine with them. Listen, if Kevin Durant's going to walk, I feel like at this point they'll let him walk. Whatever. Get the championship. Let's just get this shit done then. Like let's just get this playoffs out of the way then. So let's just sweep this team, go beat the next team in 5, and then go beat this. I feel like that's how they're going to walk through this one. That's how they're going to face this.
We shall see. I'm looking for some Lou Will heroics in a few games. That's what I want. I want to see Lou Williams go nuts.
Oh, I hope he has great games, man.
I'm calling it right now. Let's start the Lou Williams Hall of Fame campaign right now. One of the greatest 6 men of all time.
I wouldn't be opposed.
Hell yeah. There's already 3 guys I think are 6-man Hall of Famers. Manu, Jamal Crawford, and I think Lou's got to be in there.
Yeah.
All right, jumping right down. 4 seed versus 5 seed. Houston versus Utah. It's ridiculous when Houston's a 4 seed with 53 wins. That just goes to show you the West is insane.
Mm-hmm.
Harden's going to do his 9 step backs without dribbling once and score, and he has shown that he can turn off regular season mode and go into playoff mode. He's adjusted to the fact that he's not going to get a foul call every time someone breathes on him, and he finishes tougher.
Yeah.
That Houston team is just overall better. Donovan Mitchell hasn't had the hype, but he has been playing very well. But I just think this is one where I think Houston runs through them and makes a statement. I see a 4-game sweep from Houston here.
Really? I was going to go Houston 6 for this one. I think Utah's going to play him really tough, but I think overall, Chris Paul is a huge part of this Houston team as long as he's not injured. I mean, if they have Chris Paul, they maybe beat the Warriors last year. And if they don't miss 27 threes, they maybe beat the Warriors last year. So, I mean, this is a very good Houston team, but I feel like Utah is going to play them tough. They have something to at least prove a little bit at home. So, I feel like it'll be Houston 6.
I like that, but I just think, like you said, Chris Paul playing, people forget that when Chris Paul wants to, he's probably one of the best defenders in the game.
Oh, yeah.
With his size especially, I feel like if he's healthy, he's going to bring Donovan Mitchell to school, and he's going to make Donovan Mitchell. I don't think Mitchell's going to not have 20 points in a game. I think he will score his 20, but I think he will have to fight and battle to score that 20 every single time.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm going. You say Houston in 6. I say Houston in 4.
Okay.
Next matchup, my upset matchup. And it's sad because I love the team that they're going to upset. But Portland is the 3 seed, 53 wins, 29 losses. OKC is a 6 seed, 49 wins, 33 losses. And I hate this because I think the Thunder are going to win. I think the Thunder are going to win in 7 games. I think it's going to be one of the best series of all playoffs, period. Paul George is going to cement the fact that he should have been in the MVP conversation all year. I think he's going to come out. I think Uncle Russell's going to do his thing and have a triple-double all the time. But I also think Dame Lillard and McCollum are going to go nuts. I hate the series. I'm not going to lie. It's so good, I hate it.
Yeah, honestly, this series may have tilted the other way for me because I think the Thunder are going to win too. But it may have tilted the other way for me if Nurkic didn't get hurt against the Nets in that game.
We're sorry.
He is such a big part of – he was such a big part of that Trailblazers team. And him not being there really takes a lot away from them. But I'm going to have to go Thunder in 7 as well, mainly because I want to see it be that long of a series and be that fun. But, yeah, I mean, we'll see some Dame time heroics, but Russell Westbrook and Paul George have a lot to prove there in OKC. There's been an up and down year, and he stayed. Paul George stayed so they could win. You have a lot to prove. You got to win this one.
Yeah, let's see it. I'm excited for it. And again, I hate this series because it is so good, and it's going to be so much fun. This next series is going to be lots of fun too. 2-seed Denver, who has been surprising and quietly really good, because once they got going, people kind of shut up about them, but they've been awesome. 54-28, second seed in the West against the 7-seed Spurs, who this is the way they like it. They just crawl in. They don't care how they get in the playoffs. They just get in. They're 48-34. This is a battle of two similar teams again. Like the one above it's going to be a battle of similar teams. This one's, they're just fundamentally sound. Yep. And Jokic is one of the best all-around basketball players in the league. I think Denver wins it in 6, but I just love the matchup. I think it's going to be fun. Denver just needs to continue to play what they can and play great defense, and the Spurs are just going to try and wear Denver down. That's exactly how I see both teams playing each other, but I think Denver just has overall too much depth on their team.
See, I'm actually going to go with San Antonio in 7.
There it is. Look at that. The big
mainly because I feel like they have much more experience. They have Pop is a great coach. He has a big advantage here. But, I mean, LaMarcus Aldridge, undervalued superstar for that team. DeMar DeRozan has something to prove coming from Toronto, because he just felt like he was let go of by literally his hometown. Almost literally, but, like, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, he grew up there, basically.
Yeah. So they have so much to prove. And honestly, this Denver team, it's young. It can be great, but it has lost its way sometimes during this regular season. They could have had that first seed, but they lost their way, and I don't know if they can get it together through this whole series in order to pull it out. Because, I mean, Jokic is absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, and there's so many good players, good young players on that Nuggets team, but I don't know if they'll be able to beat the experience that the Spurs have with them.
Yeah, I definitely see what you got going on there, but I still like Denver because I think Denver's just going to overpower them. All right, quickly, skipping ahead, what's your finals prediction? Who's in it? Who's winning it?
I'm going to go Golden State, and I'm also going to go with I'm going to go with Milwaukee. I like Milwaukee. I like Giannis. As long as no one gets injured, I'm going to go with them. And I'm going to go with Golden State in 6.
All right, I'm going Golden State, Toronto, and I'm going Golden State in 5.
All right. I feel like everyone's going to go Golden State. So
why wouldn't you? They're going to win it. So
exactly.
It's not, unless their whole entire team gets hurt at the same exact time, they're going to win it.
Yeah.
All right, and also I got to mention one thing. Listening to the broadcast of the Nets Sixers, Spencer Dinwiddie made a drive, got past Jimmy Butler and Joel Embiid, and Doris Burke, the great Doris Burke, said that was an elite level drive going past 2 elite defenders. Spencer, you made it, son. You have made it, Spencer Dinwiddie. Go Super Saiyan Blue. Let's do this. All right, with that, that's going to conclude this episode of the Sports Opinions Podcast. David, thank you for filling in. You're a lifesaver.
It's no problem. I'm here anytime for it.
Again, social media, give them your Twitter.
DQuesta308.
All right, and again, I'm Alex Cuesta, host of the Sports Opinions Podcast. Find me on Twitter and Instagram at @A_Cuesta30. Find Sports Opinions on Twitter at SportsOpinion30. Instagram, Sports Opinions 30. Find us on Facebook by searching Sports Opinions Podcast. And listen on anywhere you can find a podcast, quite literally anywhere. YouTube, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, all of them. TuneIn Radio, just do it. Again, David, thanks for coming on. This was the Sports Opinions Podcast. Everybody, have a good one.